Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer Stay. I've got little Rose back here, and I also have Steve here with me today.
Hello.
And this is Coloring Bliss, and today we're going to talk about OLO. This small but mighty box contains 32 new colors. How did they fit 32 OLO markers inside one small little box? Well, if you don't know anything about the OLO system, we're going to give you a little quick rundown on the system. Then we're going to show you the new 32 colors. And we're also going to color. You see that coloring page back there on the back wall? I colored that whole page using OLO markers, and most of it is the new colors. I'm so excited to share all this with you. Let's get started. All right, so why are we talking about OLO today? It's because they have some brand new colors, and OLO was so kind to send them to me so that I could show them to you. Now, usually when we accept free products from a company like this, it's because we've already tested their products and we feel really good about them and feel good about sharing them with you. So that's the case with OLO. They launched over 2 years ago, or about 2 years ago. And we got a chance back then to be one of the first people with the markers and show them off to you. They are still one of my most favorite markers. In fact, let me show you some footage right now of where I store them. This is my OLO collection and the way I've been storing it for the last 2 years on these nice shelves. I'll put a link to the shelves in the video description in case you're interested. But they start right here at the yellows and go all the way down here to blacks and the zeros and the grays. And I have a little bit of space open for the new colors, so hopefully they'll fit into this rack that I've got already. So as you can see, they're in my prime real estate place right here are my OLO markers. They are really a great marker. Let's talk about what an OLO marker is. And I've got their website pulled up here. This is under the Discover tab. So if you want to go and read everything you can, we're not going to read it all, but this is what an OLO marker looks like. And one of the really great things about OLO is that it has a lot of ink in one marker. So half a marker, because they come apart, see how they come apart? Half a marker equals the same amount of ink that's inside a Copic. So when you have a full marker put together like you see here, you've actually got the equivalent of 2 markers worth of ink inside of there. And then there's different ways you can get them. You can buy them just in halves, which is what they sent me. Let me show you here. This is what half a marker looks like. You can get them in halves. That's the brush tip that I love, and then you can attach to the back end one of these handles and use it like that. Or you can take 2 halves and put them together. They come with a little baggie of connectors. These are what the connectors look like. So I can combine 2 and have a blending pair put together in one. Or you can buy 2 colors. This is what's going on here. We've got blue-green 7.6 on this side and blue-green 7.6 on this side, and it comes apart if you want to, but I keep them together, and one end is their beautiful chisel nib, which is quite a unique chisel nib. You can read more about it here on their website. And I'll put a link to their website in our video description. And then on the other end is a beautiful brush nib. Such a nice brush nib. Let me put that back. Okay, so here it's talking about the Japanese nibs, how great they are, the technology of the liquid ink inside. And that's one thing that's very different here with OLO, is they don't have like that felt inner gut part.
Yeah,
so inside of a Copic marker, inside of a Ohuhu marker, there's a little felt stick that holds the ink. And the OLO doesn't have that, so they're claiming that we can use way more of the ink. 90% of the ink we can use, where in like a Copic marker, they're claiming you lose about 35% of that ink.
Wow.
Because it's trapped inside there. Now let's talk about their numbering system, which I love. I already showed you on the cap here. Let me get it right there, you can see it says YG, so this is a yellow-green. So the first thing tells you your color family, and they have a color family for every color on the color wheel, and then the grays as well. And then the first number is the hue, and the second number is the value. So for instance, right here you can see YG 1.6 is a way darker color, but it's the same hue. So the value has changed. 1.2 is a lighter version of 1.6. So it's really easy to look at your marker tips and find a really good blending duo or a blending trio, or a lot of them are 4 colors in a blending system, so you can really go from light to a dark really easily. Then they have replacement cartridges, and I've got one right here. I'll show you what they look like. So instead of buying a tube with a whole bunch of ink, they give you this right here, which is a cartridge. This is for Y 2.3 Buttercup. It says it right there on the marker body. And what you do is you take off this cap and replace it with Y, let's see, 2.3. So I would use the nib and the cap from this marker and replace it with this cartridge right here. So there's no messy ink that you have to deal with when you're refilling. You just swap out the cartridge and use the same nibs, because the nibs last a really long time.
That's nice.
They also sell replacement nibs, so if you need that, you've got that as well. And then they have a 0 marker, which is a colorless blender type marker that you can use for a lot of different techniques. So the whole OLO system together is a really cool system, well thought out. The color families, everything is well thought out. And they originally came out with 128 colors to start the big launch. And now they've included another 32, which brings it up to 160 colors in their line. Which is so cool. You know, you see a new marker company or a new company that's making art supplies, and you wonder, you know, in 2 years from now, will they still be around? And it's cool to me that OLO is not only still around, but they're being sold at Dick Blick. They have the refills, and they have the new colors. So they must be a thriving company. That's really cool. All right, so let's look inside the box with the 32. This is, like I said, when it came, I was like, did they send me all 32 or just a few to try? Which I would have been happy with either one. But then I realized, wait a second, no, OLO is this really cool half marker system. So yes, all 32 new colors are sitting right here. And when you order them, when you get yours, you'll get some connectors. So they've given us 16 connectors, I believe, so that you can double up all of these markers into pairs. And I think that'll work with some of them, like for instance this BV line could all be paired up into blending partners, which is really cool. But some of them I would want on their own. So for that you can order some of these handles that go onto the end, or you can just use them half size. When I did that coloring page on the back wall, at first I started by putting the handles on them, thinking I would want it that way. But in the end, I was just coloring with them like this, with the little color marker. I didn't even think about it. I just was like, oh, let's keep going. Let's keep coloring. And so it was just fine to color with them on these halves. I also received a really cute little OLO sticker, which I'm going to put on my OLO binder with all my OLO information. And they sent me an adorable little OLO pin, which is really fun, a nice little touch, and that makes you feel special when you get the extras like that. Let's talk about colors. So the first thing I did was I went onto their website, and they have this swatch chart right here that I filled out 2 years ago when we got the full set of OLOs. And it breaks it down into family groups. So I thought that would be a good way for us to discuss the new colors, is by family group. So I took a minute and I re-swatched them onto a new page so that I could create some cards where we can discuss family groups. So let's do that swatching first. If you're enjoying this video, I'd like you to take just a minute and hit that like button. It takes a lot of work to do these types of videos, and we need your help to get our channel to grow. So make sure you subscribe as well. I'm working really hard to get to the 100,000 subscribers, and I really appreciate all of your support. All right, now that I've got all the older markers all swatched into their groups, it's time to start swatching the new ones. So let's roll that footage now. For this swatching, I used a letter O stamp to create a circle or an oval on each of these different family pages so I would have a place to swatch the markers. I used the Tuxedo Black Memento, or is it Momentum? Anyway, I'll link that ink for you as well in case you're interested in that black ink that works so great for this. All right, we've got them all swatched. Let's look at these beautiful swatch charts. I love how these turned out. Okay, so we'll start here with this page which has yellow, and as you can see, there's no new yellow colors, which I was a little disappointed in, but that's okay. We've got really good lights and dark yellows, and that's really hard. A lot of companies don't come out with a really good dark yellow, so I'm still happy with the yellows. Now in yellow orange, we've only added one color. It's an eggshell color, and if you look, it's a lighter version of 2.2. So we've got a 2.0 now. So now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 color blend that you can do there with the yellow orange. Now in orange, we've got a whole bunch of new colors. We've got 6 new colors. Some of them are brand new, like this 1.2 and 1.3. Actually, they're all brand new lines. So we've got already had a 02 line, and we had an 07 line, and now we have an 01.2, and we have a 4 color blend for 4.1. That little dark oak and the Chihuahua and the Lioness, I used so much in that back coloring page. I used them in the woods, and it's a nice, almost a burnt sienna type of a brown. It's a really good brown, so I was really happy to have that in that coloring page. All right, let's look at orange red where we have more. This is one where I'm like, did we really need more orange reds? Could we have gotten some more yellows?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe
Or
we
yellow
needed
oranges.
some more blue greens or something, you know? So this is probably the only spot where I was like, oh, I don't know if I agree with what you did here, OLO. Because we already had a huge bunch of orange reds. But now we've got more. We've got the 1.0, 1.2, which works in with the 1.1, 1.3, and then they added a 1.6. So they really expanded the OR1 line. And then they've added a 2.1 to expand the 2 line, and then they added a 4.1 to expand out the 4 line. So I can see why they did it, because it expands out their current blends. But did we really need more orange reds? I don't know. That was the only one that I was like, come on. We already had a ton of those. Okay, so let's look at red now, where we had, you know, a moderate amount, and they added, look at how pretty this raspberry and peach blossom color is. Such a pretty and very different red to the other reds, so I really liked that addition. And then, of course, I'm a purple girl, so anything that they've added in the violet type land, I'm going to be happy about. So they've added a 4 color blend here for red violet. This red violet was very red, and this one has a little bit more blue in it, so I like it.
Yeah,
I'm a happy
pretty.
girl. Violet didn't change, which makes me sad. But blue violet, they've added a 4 color blend here that is more on the red side. So before we had a bluish blue violet, now we have a reddish blue violet. So that makes me happy. Okay, then on the blue land, we added a 0.2. So it's again filling out the blend here, giving us an even lighter color. Those light colors are so important for blending. So any more of those light, it just makes me happy. It makes these blends much more useful. And then look at that Viridian. So they've made it so that there is, instead of a jump from 2.4 to 2.7, they've given us another mid-tone to help with that blend jump. So that's a beautiful color. I love it. And then greens, they were lacking in greens, and green, I don't know about you, but green is one of the most important colors. It's almost a neutral. You use it in so much stuff. So I always felt like they were kind of lacking in the greens, so it's great to see a couple more. We've got a 5.1 and a 5.3 that make a blending duo, and then they have added a 0.6, which would slide in right here, and a 1.5, which would slide in right here, just to build out that blend to make it easier for us. And again, with alcohol markers, having these intervals is really helpful to getting a really beautiful blend. Again, I point at the page on the back. Look at those beautiful blends that I was able to accomplish without much work, because I could just follow their system and the blends happen just so beautifully. Now, yellow-green. I'm actually a yellow-green girl. Next to violet, then I love yellow-green because it goes together with violet so well. So to have more yellow-greens, it makes me very happy. So we get a 1.2, a 1.4, and a 1.6. So a 3-color blending family there. And then they gave us an 8.2, which builds in over here because we had an 8.3. Now we have an 8.2. This is one where I'm like, I don't know. Seafoam and lichen are very close. So I don't know.
But at least they gave you the kind of the green leaning yellow greens.
Right, and it's a nice, this one's a good light, and like I said, I need more lights, so that's really good with the blends. I'm happy with that, but again, I don't know if I would have picked that one. So that's that color right there, and then the whole bunch more red oranges. I don't know if I would have picked that. But I'm just being picky. I'm happy for more colors. In the gray land, they didn't add anything new, but they already have a really good balance of warm grays, cool grays, red grays, and then they've given us 3 different blacks to play with, and then of course the colorless blender. So I don't think they needed to add anything here. I'm very pleased and happy here in the grays. So that is the new colors. So we're up to 160 colors now in this system, and I love it. All right, now that we have all the new markers and all the new swatches, it was time to color. That's what you have to do. You got to test them all out. So that was my goal with that coloring page on the back wall, was to use as many of the new colors as possible and see how they work in the system, the OLO world. So I'm going to run some footage now of me coloring on that page that's on the back wall. Now, if you enjoy color alongs, I want to let you know that I filmed this whole process, all the colors I used, all the techniques, how I did the black background with the glowy stars, all of those things, how to get the blends with the markers, how to use gray to tone things down, how to pick a color scheme. I went through all of it when I did the filming for this color along, and it's available at our website, coloringbliss.com, as part of the Academy. Now, our Academy has hundreds of hours of coloring workshops and resources waiting for you. Do you want to learn how to color with color pencils? Do you want to learn how to color with your alcohol markers? Not just OLOs, but any brand? We can teach you those types of things at the Academy. And we also have a really fun new one where we're teaching how to do advanced coloring with the humble Crayola crayons. It's such a great place to come and learn. It's just $15 a month, and it supports Steve and I so that we can keep making content like this. And you're not going to regret it. You're going to learn a lot. So come on over and join us as an Academy member. All right, on your screen now, I have Steve put up a picture and do some close-ups of how this page turned out. I was so happy with how it turned out and all the different colors I was able to use from the OLO lineup. It's so much fun to have a really good marker with a really good nib that can do beautiful blends. It's such a joy to work with. All right, so I invite you to follow the links in the video description to come and get your new colors for the OLO line so you can have your full set syndrome satisfied like mine. I'm so grateful again to OLO for sending these markers to me. I hope you learned a lot today about the OLO marker system, and like I said, come and check out the Academy so that you can color that coloring page that's right there on the back wall. Thanks again for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful, colorful, blissful day. Bye-bye, everyone. Do you want to get down? Because you don't have to sit here and film a video. We'd sure like you to stay. Yeah. Do you want to get down?
Oh, she wants another.
What was that shake for? That was a good shake. Shake. Oh, good girl. Good girl. She's licking her lips.
She looks at the cupboard.
All right, one more treat, and then we'll see if you'll settle in. Because I'd like it if you stayed. Yeah. I think everyone else. Do you know one of the YouTube comments we got on the last video was, more of Rose, please. Want more of Rose. She's so cool.